While looking after communities is a crucial aspect of policing, the Highlands' majestic natural landscape also needs protecting. It even has its own dedicated police officer, PC Dan Sutherland.
I'm really passionate about protecting the environment. I think we all are entitled to live in such a diverse landscape. We have to try our best to protect what we have. I've been a police officer here in the Highlands for over 14 years now, I'll be coming up 15 years. I love it here, it's a fantastic place to live, great environment, great place to work, great people. Yeah, I've no reason to go home, back to the north of England, that's for sure.
Today, Dan and PC Kevin Taylor are heading out to investigate a complaint of damage to a site of special scientific interest, or SSSI.
Some SSSIs have certain features that are protected in terms of the landscape. So whether that's geology, the environment in terms of woodland or native species within an area.
The suspected damage is on private land near the Glenroy Nature Reserve, a place that's earned its SSSI status for its world-renowned geological features formed by glaciers during the last ice age.
The information we have is someone has been undertaking a lot of work on our authority to landscape his land, which forms part of the SSSI. So to do that without authority is criminal under the Nature Conservation Scotland Act 2004. So today the purpose is just to visit the land and make an assessment of what damage has happened.
For those in violation of SSSI regulations, the consequences are severe, with fines up to £40,000. Dan has been trying to contact the local landowner.
Well, I've left 2 or 3 messages on a voicemail with my office and mobile number, and he's not called me back. I don't know the reason why. He'll not be expecting this, I'm sure. We need to establish the seriousness of what he's done. We've been looking for signs of excavation by heavy machinery and movement of the soil. So I would expect that would be fairly obvious to us.
That's it there, isn't it? It's not turn and go back.
I'm not the professional in geology. They'll be utilising our Nature Scot partners, the complainer in this case.
Well, they're going to be taking the lead, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to be taking the lead,
Just leave it here, Dan, I think. Just take a walk down.
Dan's meeting members of Nature Scot, an organisation that monitors SSSI sites across Scotland. They've filed a complaint against the landowner and have requested police presence to survey the site.
There's only me doing this job full-time, almost like a jack of all trades sometimes. I'm investigating wildlife crime, but also investigating damage to the environment. This must be part of the works, yeah?
And is it further up there?
Yeah. Just got to find out complainers now. I heavily rely on agencies such as Nature Scot, the Government Advisory Service for Protected Landscapes, and they can tell me what the damage is and where we go from there. This is part of the landscape that's been essentially damaged, or they want to have a look at, so we're just waiting for them. We're just waiting for them to turn up.
But before Nature Scot get to the site, the landowner's son arrives.
We're looking at a number of offences that have been given to us here. Right? I'm looking at the damage. All right.
The damage.
The work that's been undertaken. Like for layman's terms, someone's excavated this landscape, and we need to establish if that's been done without consent, and has it damaged the SSSI.
Is that a criminal offence?
It will be.
Really?
Certain activities, like simply as moving substructure and sediment, requires consent from Nature Scot.
But if it wasn't SSI, it wouldn't be a criminal offence, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd be led to believe so, yeah.
Right, okay. So is it Nature Scotland that have got you guys involved?
Yes.
Right, that's fair enough, but that's fair enough. You've got a job to do, a complaint's been made.
Yeah.
Which I think's a load of crap, that's my opinion.
Ross MacGregor's family have owned this land for over 150 years, and they've been developing plots to sell.
It's really annoying because there's an opportunity for people coming to this area that want to have a bit of land, that they can put a wee shed, put a wee yurt, put their caravan, put their tent on, put something that doesn't need the planning, you know, and it's you're saving yourself a lot of money. And it's like a lifestyle change.
Nature Scot arrive to survey the damage. They need evidence to back up their complaint.
He's obviously not happy. No, he's not. Just crack on with what you're doing. Okay. Don't take much to do with him unless he really wants. I mean, I'm not going to allow him to. Bobby is like, oh, we'll leave you to crack on.
Are you there, Dad?
But now the landowner is also on his way. In Glenroy, Wildlife Officer Dan Sutherland and PC Kevin Taylor are looking into a complaint of land damage in an area of special scientific interest.
The Glenroy SSSI covers a huge area, and we're looking at damage to one small piece of land. In this particular SSSI, the primary features are all geological. It's happened 20,000 years ago. The removal of the surface, soil, rocks and rock formation. All that work requires a consent by Nature Scot.
Specialists from Nature Scot have requested police presence as they survey the land for signs of damage.
So what have we got here?
Taken all the topsoil off, they've taken off quite a lot of material and levelled it. Yeah, and they've changed the direction of the burn, so it's not going through the culvert quite directly as it was.
Okay. All the way down from this burn here, all the way across.
So it's quite a lot of work they've done. The material they've moved, it's a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. But it's also the cumulative effect. 2 sites down there, there's this track, the big site down here, there's a lot going on.
The landowner, who Dan has been trying to get hold of for several days, finally arrives on site.
Had we known you guys were coming, it'd have been a different...
Well, you know the reasons why, if you ever pick up the message, I was explaining who I was and where I worked, and I needed to talk to you about an issue I've got coming up.
What is laughable is all this fuss about the land where there's a couple of stags and a couple of Highland cows. I think it's ridiculous. We should be releasing more land than worrying about SSSI. Is that wee bit of road being dug up? It's actually laughable. We're going round in circles.
If you put your lifestyle hat on, I think you'd all agree it's a lovely place. That's why people pay money to be here. So it's finding the balance.
I totally understand that.
It's not the first time Alistair, the landowner, has dealt with Nature Scot.
It's quite funny to see them back again, because after all these years we've developed and developed and developed, and there's more and more properties, so it seemed actually laughable that they're back in the scene. And across the hill we've got Achnabobane ski slope where they're digging roads up all over the place. We've a big hydro scheme where they're digging up mountains, and no one seems to say anything about that. So that's it.
For me, as an investigating officer, the easiest line sometimes would be to sit on the fence. It's very similar to a neighbourhood dispute. Sometimes we have to listen to both sides. Are you quite content you've recorded that sufficiently? Yeah. Photography and we're reporting up. Okay. 2 colleagues from Nature Scot are just undertaking the survey work. They seem quite surprised and shocked at the damage that's in view just up there. So at the moment, landowners are aware of what we're doing here. Now, with Nature Scot, it's just a case of waiting for them to submit their report to me.
Now, Dan's job is to weigh up if the continuing development of the site is in violation of its SSSI status.
Ultimately, it all comes down to, is a crime committed? And if a crime's been committed, we have to investigate and push for a prosecution.